Hey, what's up guys? Tony here, and you're watching some iRacing, and you're watching the sole reason why the IMSA series has become so popular in iRacing. I think it goes without saying, you know, if you were to bring in a Ferrari, that it would become really popular. And I'm pretty sure that this car and this series will become really popular. And I really wouldn't doubt it if they were to take the Ferrari and make its own series out of it, like a 488 challenge or something like that. But I'm driving the Ferrari. I'm driving the Ferrari because, probably like most people who are driving the Ferrari, I've been a Ferrari fan for I don't know, a really long time. I've always just loved their cars. It's like between a Ferrari and Lamborghini, I'm always on Ferrari's side. I just think that they put together, or they produce more beautiful cars. Never really been a fan of Lamborghini, so if iRacing does get to a point where they bring out a Lamborghini, I'll probably buy it, but I would definitely prefer to drive a Ferrari over it. So anyways, I guess this is sort of the obligatory race with the Ferrari. Actually, this particular race, this particular week, I ran all three cars. Well, 3 out of the 5. So I ran the Ferrari, I ran it twice. Had a disastrous first race. This race, the second race, was an amazing race. Oh, and also side note, like all races with a pit stop, this is only up to probably about the pit stop. This is probably 4 or 5 laps before a pit stop, because after a pit stop, usually the race is pretty boring. It's just kind of like turning laps because everyone's spread out. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. It's kind of everyone's all spread out. So anyways, that's what's going on here. So I raced, like I said, 2 races with the Ferrari. I raced 1 race with the Ford GT, and I tried to do the cheeky, you know, sneak in a win for the week, and tried racing the Corvette DP, and I got into a race and there was 3 other DPs, so I managed a 3rd place finish. But still, I mean, the guys who were in front of me, the 2 guys in front of me, were, you know, aliens. They were like 4 or 5 seconds faster than me. So, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, you could totally just grind and get an IR and wins and do a little stat padding by running the Daytona prototype. So, like the one time that I want to do that, of course, there's other people there to check me, but whatever. So, like I said, I did 2 races this week with the Ferrari, 1 race with the Ford GT, and it was like another fantastic race, which is weird because this is a track, Suzuka is a track that I've never really been too fond of, and I've never really been that great at. And so for some reason, it sort of all came together this week. I started to figure stuff out about the track that I just never really seemed to figure out before, which is weird. I mean, I've raced here plenty of times, never really been a favorite of mine, and whatever, things started to come together. So who knows? You know, I don't hate the track nearly as much as I used to. So I kind of enjoy it now that I got some of the flow, and some of the I've seemed to better understand some of the things going on with the track. So anyways, my early impression of the Ferrari when I was practicing in week 13 for the 24-hour Le Mans is that the Ferrari is really good for me in low-speed corners, and so continued to be that during this week as well. There are some high-speed corners where, you know, I never really felt like the car could really get in there, but some of the low-speed corners, especially the hairpin, it just seemed to be so well planted. There are certain things about the Ferrari that I really do love. I love the sound. It just, I don't know, it just sounds amazing. I like the fact that there is an actual blow-off valve that you can hear when you get off the gas. That's actually pretty rad. Overall, I want to say the car just sort of, I don't know, I like it better. Like, I'm typically faster. This is what I found in the 2 tracks that I've run, both cars, is that I'm typically faster in the Ford GT, but I like driving the Ferrari better, if that makes any sense. And this week's kind of a really difficult comparison because we actually ran similar times. I did run a faster overall time than the Ferraris. I managed a 1:55.9. I finally broke into the 55s after like 4 hours of 4 hours of practice and a couple of races, and I broke into the 1:55s because it was, you know, 1:56. It was a progression from like a 1:57 into a 1:56 and then down to a low 1:56, and I was like 1:56.026 or something like that, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm right there. And then so finally hit a 155.9 in this race. I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And then in the Ford GT, I managed like a low 156, and it was different time, different race, probably a little bit different weather. I didn't check. But the other thing is, like, I just didn't have as much time, so I probably put 3 or 4 hours of practice, probably that, because plus 2 races, you're looking at like an additional 90 minutes of seat time versus, I think I put in maybe an hour of practice in the Ford GT and around 1 race in it. And I took pretty much everything that I had learned from the Ferrari and just applied it to the Ford GT. And I'll talk about the Ford GT when I get there. The Ferrari is a car that I really do like, and I've done this before. I did this back when it was when they came out with the Audi and the Mercedes. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna run a season. I'm gonna run both of them. I'm gonna run both these cars back to back. You know, and it never happened. I got into a pattern where I preferred one over the other, and I never went. Like, for whatever reason, like the Audi, I think it's because it couldn't take any curbs, and so I'm a driver that abuses the shit out of curbs. And you get on the curbs and the car like would spin out. I'm like, oh my god, well, I like the Audi better, but I just can't drive it, so I drove the Mercedes. So far, neither the Ford GT or the Ferrari have been a car that I've been unable to drive. They've both been very fun cars to drive in their own right. And again, like I said, I typically am a little bit quicker in the Ford GT, but I do enjoy driving the Ferrari a little bit better. So anyways, I'm actually going to try to see if I can stick with it for the season and drive both of them, spend some time, drive both cars, and just get an idea at different tracks, like which car do I prefer. And who knows, it might be, maybe it'll be split 6 and 6 or something like that, where it's like, I really don't have a preference. It just, happened to be on that week I just drove one car better than the other. Who knows? So anyways, let me know in the comment section below, which of the 2 cars do you prefer. Like I said, I've got a half a race of the Ford GT that I do want to post. I'll probably post that tomorrow, just get it back to back. But like I said, I really do like both cars. And for me, it seems like iRacing did a really good job of balancing both cars, because there's no, at least in my opinion, there's no clear winner. I mean, if you were to look at the numbers, there's a clear winner. And I think that's just because Ferrari comes with a built-in fan base that a lot of people have wanted to see in iRacing for a very long time. And the Ford GT, this is our 3rd iteration of the Ford GT. So the first one being the GT2, and then they put together that GT3 version, and then now we've got the 2017, well, technically 2016 Ford GT. So I think at this point it didn't attract as much attention, just because while it is a brand new car, and it's nice to see iRacing being current, it's not a brand new, like, actual car to the service the way that Ferrari is brand new to the service. So that's the big reason why I think we're seeing the Ferrari be a little bit more popular. I think if they're both coming in for the service for the first time at the same time, I think it'd be a little bit more equal, probably a little bit more heavily toward, or a little bit more skewed towards Ferrari, just because, like I said, it is Ferrari. But like I said, in the comment section, let me know, which do you prefer. Do you want to try to run both? Like, I'm going to try to run both and see how it goes from there. So anyways, guys, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I shall talk to you guys later.